200 gigabytes.
That's a lot. That's like my entire Google storage.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Just for the
Dang.
4 episodes. I mean, we're in 4K, so
Oh,
that
wow.
matters. Yeah.
So you can
That's
see
so I
all the
can-
boogers in my nose?
Yes. You can tell
Happy
what
for
you
you
eat for
guys.
lunch too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can smell it through the microphone? What is this, 4D?
That would be like
4K.
5D. 4K, 40, 4K.
Speaking of which,
You know they can't smell you.
Yeah, well,
you guys can.
Yeah, thank God.
I just smell coffee.
Well,
Well-
llama. Everybody look at the llama.
Yama.
Llama.
It also
Llama,
could
mama.
be a camel.
It's no.
I don't.
Only llama.
I mean, I think it's a llama.
Look how cute it is. Where'd you get that? You got that Target. Right?
I actually got it from a close friend
Oh.
at work. She knew I loved llamas, and
Llamas.
she also for Christmas got me. It's like an adopt a llama thing, like in a little metal sleeve. The llama is not in the sleeve. The llama is.
The llama's cut into sections, and they put sections of it in each one of the things.
It's actually just jerky
Yeah.
in there. Oh.
It was very tasty.
Except for the neck discs.
The
Oh,
neck
yeah.
discs,
Those
very
are
hard to
like
get through.
disc golf pieces.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah.
a bad,
Just
bad joke.
Jerky.
I
Yeah.
watched a disc golf video the other day where the guy was maybe like 20 feet from the thing and he throws it and it hits, but it falls through and bounces down and then starts rolling all the way down the sidewalk, like straight away to like forever. So
That's great.
yeah,
Epic
poor guy.
fail.
You just saw the guy's like, cause he knew he couldn't touch it. Like you're not supposed to touch the discs
Right.
or whatever. So he's just like,
Watching it go.
Yeah. Where are you going? This is your home. Didn't you watch
Too
Happy
good
Come
for
on.
your home.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back
Welcome back.
Hey.
to another week of Bars and Balladeers podcast.
Yes. What do we do? What are we again?
We are storytellers, authors,
Ah.
who are just trying to do something that I can't explain. One of you two.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to take my brain pills this morning. We
You
are
can edit that out, right?
No, I'm not editing. That's too much work. You guys don't pay me enough to do any of that editing. It's going straight to YouTube after this. I mean, when we do live
Uh-huh.
shows, it's going to be like that. So it's like no editing.
That's true.
I like how
Oh.
he said ahead of time, like that he'd be doing a bunch of editing and he likes editing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's no work, literally no work.
None.
That's no big deal, guys.
Yeah.
I think I hate my life.
Publish.
No, but we're making a podcast because there's not enough of them, and we're trying to fill a niche. But we're doing creativity stories, all the things that make us tick, really, and hopefully bringing on other people in the future to tell us what makes them tick and why they like doing the artistic things that they do.
Yeah.
All
Other
those
than that,
stories.
we're just hanging out.
Hanging
Mhm.
out, hanging out.
Having a good time. But
across the
this week,
street.
I guess I'll get started with our Out in the World
What are we
since we're starting with the music theme this week.
Ooh.
My favorite.
Because there's stories in music.
there-
Music tells stories.
Yeah.
All of it
Mhm.
and inspires. Like I mentioned last week in our episode, that music is a big inspiration for me, being a musician, and also I think just of who I am outside of that. But my Out in the World this week is I saw a video on Instagram on it was the Minnesota Orchestra replaying their version of Mars, which is part of the Planets Suite by Gustav Holst. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up as the Out in the World was because how much that was, I don't know how big of an inspiration it was, but it was a partial inspiration, at least, for John Williams when writing the Imperial March. And
You definitely can hear it.
yeah, maybe, I don't know if you're able to add.
No, we can't. That's copyrighted.
Oh,
They're going
is
to shut
it?
us down.
Dang it.
You
Go
can
listen.
hum it. You're allowed to hum it.
Only like 4 seconds, I thought.
Dun, dun.
You can actually do more than that.
Oh,
can't
you can you?
Because it's you're doing it. You know,
That's okay. Because, well, like,
Anyways,
perfect.
just like that. That's the entire symphony. But and how much again, the Imperial March, like, and probably other songs from the Star Wars soundtrack as a whole. It's just very, very spacey, very I mean, it's Mars bringer of death, right? And so it's just very heavy, very intense, and sort of fits the vibe of Darth Vader, right? And so go listen to it. I highly encourage you to. It's a great, great song. The suite altogether, there's like Mars, Jupiter, there's other ones too.
There's like 9 planets, right?
Lovely,
There's
lovely.
8. Because
Eight.
Pluto's not a planet
Pluto
anymore.
was a planet,
In our heart.
honorary planet.
R.I.P. Pluto.
Goddamn Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not sure that he's the one who demoted it, but
But he will be the object of our ire.
yes,
I guess.
he could have defended. He could have done the right thing.
I think he was
But he
part
didn't.
of the crew of
That
the decided that it gets the
Yeah.
axe.
He's going to be the scapegoat.
I know.
He's
but
popular enough to like survive it. It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
true because he is funny too.
yeah. He is
But
funny.
with that, also John Williams, just as a whole. I mean, wearing my Jurassic Park shirt.
Very nice.
And just love what not only him, but what him and other composers have done for setting tone in movies and video games and TV shows, and can't think of anything else. Even musicals, right?
Video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a big. It's all connected.
You guys just went to, about a month ago, went to Video Game Music Con.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My favorite convention of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went there just because, like, we knew. Well, it was kind of cool because at the time when we first went there, the only author.
Right. It's true. It's true.
And
I see where you guys
yeah,
go. All right.
no, you're not allowed. They only let one author.
Only one.
That's not
Talk
true
to
because
Anton.
yeah, well, Amanda was there. Amanda Maverson was also with us that con
Mhm.
because we told her like you got to come if only because of the music.
Right.
Like, you need to come
Yeah.
and see this, right? So we'll go regardless of like we still talk to wonderful, great people,
Mhm.
but it's never like a selling event as we call them. It's just to be a patron of BGM Con. Right?
Mhm.
The arts.
And
Yeah.
to
Of the arts,
support the
yeah.
arts and partake in just listening to other people making beautiful music and just having a good time and creating that community for people to listen to all that stuff too. And also, what a great thing to highlight is video game music in and of itself. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of a lot of those video games. Of course, like maybe names here and there, but and when you get to like the music of it, it's so fun
Yeah.
just to see.
Wasn't it Star Wars Survivor? I gotta double check this, and as Kato says, fact check me. But the Survivors won an Academy Award or something like just recently
I'll look it up.
for their music on there, and rightfully so. Some of the like, if you want to talk about Star Wars sounding music, like,
Mhm.
and it doesn't like it's an homage to it without sounding too different from it all, you know. So it's just wonderful that this music is not only being inspired or being, you know, part of video games and other forms of art other than movies and TV, but it's being recognized for it in the video game space now, which is great, you know. I love that. I don't know if you found.
No,
It's fine. They won some kind of award, and
it did.
Yeah.
And either that one or the first one. What an award in our heart.
yeah, that's all that matters.
Because again, it not only helps deepen the story for Cal and Marin and all the other characters, but
Yeah.
it also pays homage to, like Rio said, all of the original themes, the mysticism of the world of Star Wars, and it using certain instruments and honoring what came before it. It was just a beautiful, beautiful way of doing it. And I love it because it wasn't John Williams or Michael Giacchino that did it. It was, I don't remember their names. It was two people that did the soundtracks for
Stephen Barron and
Gordy Hobb?
Yeah,
the dudes.
the Duderinos. Oh, is it Grammys?
Did they
Oops.
win a Grammy?
Oh my God! No, stop. No, stop.
On the ground. Yeah, on the old
Grammys.
floor.
They won it for best score soundtrack for video games in the Grammys.
Attaboy.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
what a great time to be alive.
It's true. It's true. And I think that it does so much for adding to the story, adding to the tone. And I know, Oscar, you said that you had a lot of experience. I know you said role-playing games mostly. Did you ever incorporate music like into that, or was music ever a part of that?
I did do that a few times. I did not a lot because I'm not that tech savvy. And so like I was a late adopter to burning CDs.
Sure. That's illegal.
I actually
Morally, I stand against it.
I got a prize from an old job, like $100 gift card from Best Buy. So I bought an external CD hard
Nice.
drive.
Yeah. Burner.
And so I'm like, okay, I got to use this thing. And so I actually made a few compilations for my RPGs. One of the ones I did was actually for my pirate RPG, which, is the basis for my books. And I still listen to it when I write.
Ooh.
But it's actually, it's meant to, I specifically made it for this section of the story where they're landing outside of Caracas and going on this raid. It's book 1. You've read this part. And just kind of going through that, and they meet this encampment and they do this raid, and then they're heading back. So there's lots of kind of jungly sounds. And I actually borrowed tracks from Enigma, The Orb, which you guys probably have never heard of. It's English ambient techno.
Oh, okay.
But like it's very naturey sounding.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's one of their more, The Orb is generally not, but that album is.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's like, River Valley kind of noises and but yeah, put into a melody thing.
Yeah.
All
Nice.
wordless stuff. So Enigma, The Orb, a couple tracks from Akira.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Is it that one like tribal, like it's a.
There's one right at the end where you hear the motorcycle sound in there too, but you can.
funny.
It doesn't quite sound like a motorcycle when you can't see that it is.
Okay.
But yeah, like there's, and then there's like one where the kid's in the hospital. It's like that. Kind of
It's
creepy.
that really. Yep, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's really effective because you got to set different moods in fiction.
Right.
Right.
And for pirates, a lot of the time you've got battles, trekking around, stealth. And it's really good for the stealth. That's really good for the stealth part. I got a couple tracks from Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
One from The
Nice.
Patriot.
Oh.
John Williams, I think.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
sure.
so.
Yeah.
So it's this mixture, and it works really well.
Nice.
I did another one where there's a group trekking through this haunted mire for a week, and I wanted to make a creepy thing. And I swear half of it is Aphex Twin. For those who know, those know. If you know, you know. That's the phrase I'm looking. Those who know. Yeah,
I know people.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's a mire?
Like a bog.
Oh,
like a swampy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's haunted, and so there's like at one point I made it as creepy as possible because I wanted to unnerve the players, not just the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Are all Myers haunted? Is
No.
that it? Okay.
No, not all Myers. Hashtag not all Myers.
Not my Meyer.
But like right at dusk, like this, like
Ooh.
skeletons are a particularly nasty form of undead in this game. Like all
Is
of
it
them
hot?
are.
Is it hot, like
They're pretty
temperature wise?
sexy.
I think it was kind of temperate.
Okay.
60s,
Okay.
Yeah.
70s, at that time of year.
Bit squishy.
But yeah, there was like everyone's kind of walking through, and the last person gets grabbed around the ankle by a skeleton out of the mud.
Yeah.
And like they can easily break away from it, but like they drain your constitution score.
Natural fortitude.
So it's like if you just keep having to get con drain, like because it's an area effect, not just touch. So you can just sort of slump down and
Sure.
just like
Then you're become
you're
part
done.
of the mire.
You're done.
Right.
Con drain is also what you get after a long weekend at a convention.
Yeah. And then you
Con
followed
drain?
by con cooties,
Con cooties and con crud.
Con
Yeah.
crud.
Yep.
I always called it.
Depends on what you're
Con
doing at the
cookies.
con. Determines what kind you get.
Wash your
I got the
hands,
one
y'all.
that burns.
Oh,
Oh God!
go see a doctor.
And you go see a lawyer, you guys. You don't know what we're into.
Yeah, I don't know where I got it from.
No, but I'm curious.
I even made a soundtrack for SSX3 snowboarding game.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't they have their own
Okay.
soundtrack?
They did. I made a better one.
Oh,
Was there
fair
any
enough.
ska on it?
No.
It's got, then what kind of 90s
Well, I mean, ska
like
is kind of like for the warm version of snowboarding.
skateboarding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go warm snowboarding.
warm wheeled snowboarding.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
could be like dune sledding. I think it's called something else. Like when you go down.
Windsurfing?
Oh, is
No.
that what
Is
it
it?
is?
No.
No, where like you just go down a dune with a piece of
Cardboard.
or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. No, there's a
Slunding.
there's a kind of like dune buggy that just has a sail.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
it is
No,
pretty cool.
I
but
would love to do that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what has a really speaking of tunes, like Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road has like a great soundtrack. Like it fits very well into this whole diesel punk and just a fefeeling of like hard rock and guitar, just like it
flaming guitars.
Flaming guitars. So yeah, it's always funny how, again, thematically, how people pick certain types of music to fit the movie. And like Tron Legacy had Daft Punk. I mean, who better to do a soundtrack than Daft Punk?
I just made up my mind last week to watch Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I have Tron written down here. Like,
nice.
Oh, funny.
Yeah,
because like I think when they're in the
club
in the computer, like the music has a little bit more of a video game sound to
Absolutely.
it, like a little bit electronic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really kind of impressive is that, like, you know, Daft Punk, obviously they're musically inclined and they're very good at what they do, but writing a soundtrack from like, you know, dance jams or whatever you want to call it, or EDM is different. There's a different, because you have to, like, depending how you do it, usually you have the movie done first and then you add the music, which I think is a bit backwards and reductive. I think you should have a piece of music and, like, I don't think you should, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Maybe you're backwards and reductive.
I am backwards. I could be, let me just turn around real quick.
Well, I think because it's almost like the music is supporting the visual story, whereas,
It's not the focus sometimes.
it's not. Whereas like Daft Punk, you know, for their music, the music is the story. It is the forefront, right? And the support is the theme or I
was going to say, because in the reverse of that, so they brought Daft Punk to do the music for Tron, but they used the Discovery music to write a whole anime towards. Like the Discovery soundtrack or album was done, and I can't think of his name. It's Leiji. He did like Galaxy 3.9 and Captain Harlock and all that stuff. Back in the day, not the new CG stuff. Well, maybe he did. I don't know. But they made an anime and they figured a story. It's making that box and being conformed to that box and then finding how do you make a story with the music that you've heard. And if you've never seen Interstellar 5555,
I have not.
It's fantastic. It's if you like Daft Punk, you'll like the music and the visuals are nice.
Right.
So
because like you said, with that one, they wrote the music first and then the anime came after it.
Yeah.
So it as opposed to Tron Legacy. Legacy, where the movie was first and they wrote the music to support that for their album. The visual supported the music to a degree.
Yeah. And they worked around it, which is fine because people do that all the time and we got great music. So I'm not saying that's the wrong way. I just love when you have the music and then you almost feel or hear a story in your head, like, you know, because of the music and the way it plays out. And
yeah, I actually had a fun experience with that. I was working at AT&T back in the 25 years ago. And
how old are you?
Old.
Just kidding.
We don't ask that question here.
Well,
I mean, it was just, a few years ago.
Just the other day.
Just last summer.
I was listening to Aphex Twin, which again, I don't think either of you have heard of.
I know.
It sounds familiar. But.
Yeah, he's sort of a legend in the ambient spaces.
Oh.
And he's got a couple of ambient collected works. And I was listening to the second disc of his 2 CD, ambient collected works 2 or whatever set.
Sure.
And from beginning to end, this story just sort of occurred in my head and it didn't stop until the album was done. Like,
that's cool.
I should write that story at some point. Maybe not write it, but almost more like a comic book or a visual only.
That would be cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I had this clear picture of what the story was. And there's even one part of it, which is really, there's this repetitive, like kind of like laughing voice, like, like really high, kind of unnatural sounding. And I just got this idea of like engineered ghosts.
Ooh.
It's like an idea that had never occurred to me before. And I'm like, this sounds like, like if you walked into a lab and there were a bunch of like engineered ghosts in jars.
Ooh.
Kind of like, I was just say, kind of like Pac-Man.
It's almost like created creatures, but like the dead version, like ghost version. If you could do that. I'm like, where did that idea come from? Well, I just was inspired by this track.
And by the tone of the music, right?
And
right.
The weed
and the way it flowed with the rest of the tracks I'd been listening to. And so, that's always stuck with me.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think that's also huge with music as a whole in, again, video games, movies, whatever it is, that it's almost like the music can sometimes be subjective. And that's why some you can listen to it outside of the movie or video game itself. But some of it, it's almost hard to, because there's almost like no narrative to the song, or maybe doesn't evoke any emotion without the visual. One of my favorites that I can listen to in the movie or outside of the movie is How to Train Your Dragon.
Mhm.
Because that soundtrack, every song is a banger.
John Powell.
John Powell, yeah.
John Powell, yeah.
John, all hail. He's to me, he's one of my favorites. I actually think he helped with, like, I want to say the Kung Fu Panda, the first one.
Oh.
And he did Solo. He's done other
I
things
don't
too.
remember this music from Solo.
It's a lot like How to Train Your Dragon.
Is it?
Truth be told, yeah, because you're flying around in space
Sure,
and having
sure.
fun, and which is essentially kind of the same thing as How to Train Your Dragon.
But in space.
Thematic wise, yeah. But that one has dragons.
That makes it sci-fi, right?
Right. 'cause
Right,
it's in
yes.
Space.
Well, actually, isn't technically How to Train Your Dragon also sci-fi? Or Dragons of Berk, I think, is the book that is based off of.
I think it's fantasy.
I would have called it fantasy, but I
Yeah.
haven't read the book either.
I mean, are the dragons biologically engineered and brought back to life through science?
Well, Hiccup gets his ankle thing.
That's amputee core.
Oh, we're learning. Well, and
We'll tell you where you can mail your complaints.
Toothless also, Hiccup needs to give him, I don't know if this happens in the book though.
That's a good question.
He needs to give Toothless a little wing because he loses it in an
Mhm.
accident. No spoilers. That happens in like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, which-
And if you haven't seen it by now, again, it's like 20 years old.
they're doing a live action at this
How
point.
old are you?
I know, it hurts.
I
like
watched
that
it
question.
I watched it like everyone's supposed to when I was 5, 300 times.
Yeah.
Old
I had
people.
my
Man.
toothless plushie. It was great.
Mhm.
But using that movie, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
seen that movie. What's funny though is I need to hear more soundtracks without the movie because I
Mm.
cannot remember anything about that soundtrack because I
Oh.
found the movie so engaging. And I
Ah.
wasn't
Fair
really,
enough.
I don't have the tendency to just automatically listen to the music.
Sure.
There are things where I'm like, oh, that was really good music.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the intro sequence, credits, whatever for K-Pax. I was like, who is this?
Oh.
Mm.
Like there's like, 2 minutes of music there. I'm like, this, I want to look this up. But like I
Ooh.
found
Sure.
it.
Because
Um,
you've never seen K-Pax yet.
Oh no. Will you go stop her?
No,
I'm sorry.
it's fine.
Okay.
She's fine.
Yeah, cat
Look at cat.
shenanigans.
It's more so because it's guacamole.
Oh, it is guacamole. Yeah.
Can she
you mind?
eat avocados?
I don't
I'll
know.
be
Can
back.
cats eat avocados?
Yes.
Okay. She's
Oh,
fine.
okay then.
Okay.
We're good.
Might be the onions.
Onions,
I hope
not
you
so
like
much.
that cat.
She loves all food. She's eaten onions. It's
Oh.
insane.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever encourage it.
She's
Yeah.
Of
licking
course.
her chops right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Well,
not
she's-
that interested. Anyway, cats.
Yeah, so
Cat-
sorry.
Cats make music.
But yeah, like I actually do some writing to video game compilations on YouTube,
Oh.
usually involving Port Royal 1 and 2.
Oh,
'Cause
Sure.
Port Royal 2 has the best soundtrack of any video game I've played. But you
Dang.
can't just listen to the
Interesting.
soundtrack because a lot of it's ambient sounds, like tropical
Oh.
sounds, and then there'll be some like melodies over it. There's no words or anything. But,
Sure.
Sure.
But yeah, if you just try to download the soundtrack and listen to it, it'll play one incidental thing for 3 seconds, another incidental thing. It's the
Mm.
combined experience of
Sure.
them all
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
at once. That's the thing. So sometimes I would just open that game and leave it on the menu screen,
Ooh.
Oh, sure, yeah.
like hit play and then leave it on the pause screen and then just go do other stuff. Because
I
then
like
it's just
that.
like I'm hearing birds chirping and then the
Sure.
occasional like
Mhm.
like squeeze box or whatever.
It's the
Like an accordion, but slightly different.
Oh.
it's
It's,
Like
they're,
the
they're
arcade
slightly
one?
different.
yeah.
Oh.
Accordion is different from a squeeze box.
Yeah, because Cordon's got the full keyboard with all the little extra
Mhm.
Oh.
keys. What it all plays.
She only
Um,
likes synthesized
Yeah.
instruments.
It's her favorite. I was gonna
Rip
say
my heart out, tear it in two.
come also the Wii channel.
Boop,
Sa-
boop, 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 boop.
Dun, dun, dun. Bum, 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 ba-da-da.
That's as much as we can sing.
Oh God, yeah. Even I recognize that.
Yeah. It's such a like simple but great song at the same time.
Which somebody was playing that at VGM Con, actually.
Oh, there really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was jamming to it.
I also find it interesting too, the difference in not just soundtracks, but soundtracks when it comes to different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they are widely varied depending on where they come from, right?
Yeah.
It's just funny that being a Jedi again, Jedi Fallen Order, the intro song to that has got Mongolian throat singing in it, and it's fantastic. Like, you know,
beautiful.
but it works so well because it's such a I don't want to say a dystopian feeling at the beginning, but it's just like you're really entering into this like grungy world at the beginning, and it just fits so well. Like, you know, the fact that they got these guys who got famous on YouTube for some of their things to do a song for them, like, hell yeah, you know, thank you, internet.
And isn't that one of the beautiful things about the internet too, is that the fact that so many different cultures around the world now we can learn from them, when like 50 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to like learn about the intricacies of Mongolian like society other than from an encyclopedia.
Yeah, you'd have to fly people over here to teach for months. Or
right.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's beautiful. I love the internet for that. Very few reasons, but that's one of them.
And because we're on it.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also research.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the amount of research I would have to do without the internet is insane.
Oh, yeah. Looking at microfiche at a library. Going through the reel and just like.
I never enjoyed doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a question. Like, when because you're more of a musician than either of us.
Yeah.
Mario is too. Sorry, Rio.
I play piano.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for both of you, I guess, like, do either of you like hear music when you write certain scenes, or like, like while you're writing, are you like imagining the music? I think this is, I feel like that's less going to be your thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, like if there is music in like that scene, I definitely will hear or have an idea of what that type of music I want for that. But not like if I'm just kind of like thinking of a soundtrack to like, oh, they're going to battle now. It's like thunderous drums and like, you know, horns or something like that. No.
Right.
Yeah. But definitely I hear the music if it's like written into a scene.
Right. Yeah.
Like your own scene?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Like if you write music into a scene.
Yeah, like because there's a scene where they're all dancing and everything, and you know,
I see
very tribal, very like, you know, simple instruments, simple stringed instruments, or like flutes and some of that, you know. So that's fun. Yeah.
For me, you know, I do have some themes written for some characters. And so I haven't imagined songs to like overarching like chapters or things like that, but characters will have a moment that is so truly like authentic to that character, and that's when I'll imagine some kind of theme. But it's usually almost like back to that Prokofiev like Peter and the Wolf type stuff, like where that, I don't know, it's just very similar to that. So I imagine like very specific like motifs or themes for one specific character, like but not all of them though. Only certain ones do at this point. And I imagine that theme almost like based on, I know I said like authentically who that character is, but like what I want their arc to be overall. And for me, like I have one character, like she's the main heroine of the story, and she's a very, tries to be hopeful at points whenever she can. And so her theme is very almost, I don't want to say Shire-esque, but like it evokes a pleasant feeling, a hopeful feeling, like a little spark or catalyst of just peacefulness. I don't know. Then there's another character where his is like, his arc is my like sort of redemptive one, where he starts out bad, then has his own arc. But his theme is more complicated, more colorful, and has more texture to it, where there's some other ones that I have too. I won't go into those. But
do you feel like the characters that you have these themes for are your characters who have a stronger voice on, like, in terms of the written word?
Ooh, yes. I would. I definitely think so. And it almost helps that maybe a reason why I have such strong themes for those characters is one of my playful like story things it's like a game that I play, like how well do I know the character? Well, I will compare them all to like a type of musical instrument.
Mhm.
And I think that each instrument has a sort of personality. And
Sure.
so like one of them will be
Piccolo.
like a piccolo. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's one of them. And it has a very, sound that comes out of that
Sure.
instrument. And but the question, you don't mind rephrasing it again?
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like I veered from it.
if you feel like the characters you've written musical themes for have a stronger literary voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Because there are some characters that I'll still, I'll write dialogue for them that it's not actually in character for them.
Mm.
But the ones that I do have those themes written for, I do have a stronger sense of their character, but also what they'll say, how they'll respond. They've also been the characters that I've been working with for years at this point. And they did go through their own evolution of who they are to get to where they are. But yes, I think so.
What do you think about the instrument clarinet? What kind of person is that?
I feel like I'm being cornered. No. We all have
Clarinet is
instruments
your
that we don't
favorite.
love.
What,
But
you don't love the clarinet?
I
I
respect
heard some
it at
cool
points.
people play the clarinet.
Yeah, a lot of our fans play the clarinet.
They're alienating so many of them right now.
I am. Read instruments.
Ooh,
You know,
shit, we can't say that.
I'm
online.
a string player. God, leave me
You
alone.
stringist.
yeah, all you
Yeah.
guitarists.
And violas. Go alto clef.
Oh no, don't bring that back in there. I don't want to get in a fight. Just stop talking about alto clef.
Alto clef. Alto clef.
Mm. Team alto clef.
Team alto clef.
You
Alto
know-
clef blasts off again.
Inside joke, I'm guessing.
No, it's a
No,
Team Rocket
Team
reference
Rocket.
from Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for millennials, it's an inside joke.
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no, someone asked on the internet, I don't know, occasionally, I like Facebook meme question things as long as they're not about the last thing I ate, which is like nearly all of them. I have a 6-panel comic that I want to write about.
Oh,
that.
sure.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, yeah, someone asked a question on there, like to everybody who would answer, like if you ever went on a killing spree, what would your theme song be? What would be playing as you
Sure.
did that?
Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Yeah.
Mine was This One Goes Out to the One I Love by REM.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Because I can just picture, like, it just seems like it's right out of a movie. Instantly, I was like, boom, you know.
Or Dean Martin, I do it my way.
Or isn't that Sinatra?
It's a Sinatra?
It might
think
be
it's- I think it's
That's
Sinatra.
what I said, Sinatra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to edit it so you guys can never
Edit
make
that
me
out
look like an
in
idiot.
post,
So.
There's an Iron Maiden song too, but
Yeah, I don't know
Several.
my Iron Maiden very
okay.
well.
I'm biased. No, it's fine.
I've
know-
heard of it. I've heard Iron Maiden.
Hey,
I just,
yes.
What is
Not the Iron Maiden from
the Iron Maiden?
Yeah.
the torture device.
Yeah, that's the ice cream sandwich
Yeah.
one.
What's this? Jesus Christ.
Seen that meme.
with the cream filling.
There's a side by side of like someone being put in an Iron Maiden and an ice cream sandwich,
Yeah.
and they look remarkably similar.
Very
Yeah, there's no
similar.
difference.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was the Iron Maiden song that I showed you? You start playing it one day, and then I was like, "You playing Evangelion?"
Oh.
Like, and the songs, like, you could totally tell this guy was
Inspired.
inspired by it.
Inspired
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it was it's
directly.
because here's the thing: is like if they would have used the Iron Maiden song, I should actually do this. Use it in that scene, I bet you would work just as good. Like
I
it's
bet.
just one of those things
I
that.
don't remember which one it is.
Yeah, it starts with that like almost dramatic. Dun, 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 dun.
Put that in
Hallowed
the
be thy
comments.
name.
There you go.
By Iron Maiden.
Don't put it.
Howled
in
by
the comments.
the,
Yeah.
the name. But
Okay.
there's the scene where in Evangelion where the rebuilds movies where Shinji is fighting the diamond shape-shifting angel. And it plays it when the most triumphant song. Like again, that's the thing about songs and everything and how much they can add to it. Because you can play the same exact scene, have different music, and it would not be as effective. And when it works so well that it gives you chills, like literally because that music builds or it swells and it just like because auditory plays such a big like part in anything you do or say. Like you can see something softly and say the same thing angrily, and they mean two different things,
Mhm.
you know. And I just love that the way that music enhances, if not becomes the main focus for things. And when it comes, even alone, if you listen to music by itself and the story that may come in that music, when used as a soundtrack, it is just an amplifier of what is already existing.
Right. The support, like with Daft Punk, making the soundtrack for Tron Legacy. And I don't want to veer too much, but I do have an example we talk about this all the time, of silence being actually used in a story.
I have some stuff on that written down too.
Okay. Well, I have.
You're telling me to shut up.
I do say two. No, I'm so sorry. One, going back to Inglourious Bastards, I just watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago now. I don't remember. Where
2 weeks ago.
There is a lot of music in it, but a lot of the scenes lack music and that intensity from that, just the dialogue, from the intensity of people looking at each other and the knowledge that we know that certain characters might not have. That weight in and of itself does set a tone for the scene or the whole movie at different points.
Right.
By just having silence.
Because it can be distracting sometimes.
It's true.
And that first, the Bourne Identity. One of those early, one of those first big fights. He goes back to the safe house apartment or whatever.
Right.
That fight, I don't think there's any music in that at all.
With the pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the pen. And people are like, this is John Wick before John Wick.
Yes.
I've never seen John Wick, but
the first one's good.
Well, that's Matt Damon.
The first one's good.
But I think that whole fight, there's no music, and it's just makes it more raw.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's such a well choreographed fight. It looks so real that I feel like it was a really good choice to not have music in there.
I agree. Yeah. I didn't even know, honestly. I love that movie, but it's been so long since I've rewatched it. Now I want to watch it again with different eyes, new eyes.
Because I wonder if with music, it makes it an experience, and without the music, it makes it more like, I want to say like a documentary, but it makes that you need to focus on what is happening.
Ooh.
Like that is the only thing that matters at this point. I mean, again, music can just add to so much, but when you take it away, it's almost like a focusing of, because your brain can only process so much at a time, right? You get the music, you get the visual, you get the feelings from it, and memories or whatever it might be. But when it's like when you say, look at a piece of music and pick out one instrument and everything, you can actually enjoy that music even more because you're finding more of it, just focusing down on it. And I think one of the really good examples of this is Chronicles of Narnia. And I didn't know anything about Chronicles of Narnia when I saw the movie. And there's a scene when the two armies come together with the White Queen and
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe specifically.
Yes, the first movie. Yeah. Is it the White Queen?
The White Witch.
White Witch. Thank you. Yeah. The White Witch and Peter.
Oh my God. I'm pretty sure that's it. Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other Peter and God, what are the names of the characters? Well, anyway, it's other armies.
Peter,
two armies.
Susan,
Edmund.
Yeah,
Edmund.
And the two armies come together and they come battling and they're all charging to each other. And it's this wonderful building of song. Dun, 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 and it builds up. And then it kind of lulls down, but then they're running at each other. And then the music just slowly cuts out. And you don't hear anything, not even like footsteps and everything, until the moment they come together. And the heartbeat. Yep. And the heartbeat. Yeah. And they come together and then all the sound comes back. And it's just.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah, me too.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah. I didn't notice any of that. I got to watch that again.
Yeah, you should. It's such a and I remember seeing it in theaters and I told my brother afterwards, it's like, did you notice how they cut the music? He's like, oh yeah. And he didn't have the same effect. And I'm just like, that was amazing. How did you not feel? How dare you?
Yeah. I think there's if I'm remembering right, there's the same song used for two different scenes in two different movies that I thought was particularly effective in each. Again, the Bourne Identity, the huge car chase scene.
Yeah.
The crazy one where he ends up in a parking garage and ditches the car.
Yes.
This Paul Oakenfold, Ready, Steady, Go.
Yep.
I have that album.
Nice.
And I was like, this fits this car chase so well because it's just cool and gritty and but also is used in Collateral.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So that's, Tom Cruise, as a hitman.
Yeah.
But it's playing in the club when he goes in the club and starts killing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But then what I thought was interesting about that was when they show scenes like cops or whatever arriving outside the club, you can barely hear it. And the counterpoint, like of just the action and the music going on in there, and then not so much action and like much less like music going on outside.
Sure.
The counterpoint I thought was really effective at like at separating those two environments.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can use it, you know, like this, you can even have like two different tracks going like, you know, this area and that area. And that you can create an interesting counterpoint of that and again, in film, like, or in video games, like in video games, I see like a lot of video games are like conglomerations of little mini games. And then there's like an overall, you know, outside of all the mini games kind of theme, but each little mini game has its own little soundtrack or something.
You know, it's really impressive of games, maybe like the late 2010s or, is that, and probably happened before this, but they will take themes and they'll have a main theme that will play and everything. And as you go through the game or as you get into battles or whatever happens during your adventure, they'll actually add in or use that theme and then make it a battle theme. Or they'll do stuff to add instruments or stuff to it. It's very impressive when they do it right. Cause then like you get out of the battle and then it goes back to that main thing and strips away all these extra instruments that had made it the battle theme, or like now drums will come in and like, you know, other instruments. And I find that so fascinating because video games is very specific because you don't always have that music playing until you get to a point. Like, you know, they serve the purpose when the purpose is there. Cause you could you're playing Legend of Zelda, you can spend an hour cutting down grass and everything. And the music will be nice and, you know, somber and happy and joyful. And then you get the battle, then it's totally different. Right. But until that point, so the music's always serving the game and when it needs to be, you know, and I find that very fascinating because then you don't just write a piece of music, you write themes, and those themes will be transformed or like used in only certain places. So
yeah, I could be wrong about this. I think that the original like animated Hobbit movie did some version of that. Like, you know, there's like the greatest adventure sort of theme they play with Bilbo. But I think towards the end, there's like drums and like battle type
let's say
percussion and march stuff in there with the Battle of Five Armies stuff, like on the outskirts of it. The scenes around that big fight. Yeah. I feel like there's just that, you know, preparing for battle kind of version of it. I feel like I'm remembering that right, but I have to go back and verify. Which, you know, I guess there's that element of using music in real combat that is kind of an origin of that. Like again, the Patriot, you know, the British Grenadiers, playing that, the March of the Grenadiers on the battlefield, which, you know, is partially a timekeeping device for marching.
I did not know that. It makes sense. Gosh. But even like the guitar shredding guy from Mad Max, like he leads the, you know, leads the inspiration, right? The war drum.
Or even if like the original, I think it was from, I watched the old Shogun, not the new one, which I really want to see.
I've heard it's good.
Me too.
The guy at work told me it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old Richard Chamberlain one, which I have on DVD, which I haven't watched since I got the DVD, but I have it.
But you have it.
I've seen it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, just rowing. I think there's a guy who's just like keeping like a basic drum beat for the rowing. Because, you know, got to keep everyone in time for maximum efficiency.
Right.
Or else you have people actually, you know, if they're out of time, if they're out of sync, then they're actually fighting against
the other ones,
the flow. And that's wearing them out.
Yep.
That's true. That's true. And I think even that is like, because as you guys were talking, I was thinking about really like what kind of is the point of having, you know, music in movies and all this stuff in video games. It's almost like, again, to set that tone for like emotions going into a scene or coming out of a scene so that people don't have to work as hard to get the emotions from like the actors or the setting or the beauty of the, you know, cinematography. It kind of does some of the legwork of that so that the actors can say less potentially.
And it was there before. Because silent movies, there was all music.
Yes, yes.
And then the dialogue and all that was all text on the screen.
Right. And like you get more urgency from a faster paced song potentially. You get the spookiness, right? Like that, you get that tone and you should be unsettled when there's a spooky song. I don't know if that ever was a thing in silent movies, but you
I
guys
mean,
kind of know
If
what
not,
I mean.
why not?
Yeah.
They get the little ooh,
Slide whistle kind of thing.
Well, even like what's that movie about the monsters with the hearing with Emily Blunt, John
Quiet Place?
Krasinski? Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's I think the only example I could think of a creepy silent movie.
Sure,
Even though it's
yeah.
not a silent movie, but
They had to be
Um,
silent. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And the use of the threat of noise is a big theme in that movie.
I like
It's just like Nemesis.
Oh,
Nemesis,
yeah.
threat of
Yeah.
noise. Roll for
Mhm.
noise.
Roll for noise.
I'm not
It's
Stop
again.
so
moving.
unforgiving. Yeah.
Don't let me go by myself.
I know.
Can't I just play a levitating character?
stay together? A
There's
levitating character.
an android who can't get impregnated. That's a
That's
character.
helpful.
I mean, like-
I like how you specify it's the android that can't get impregnated.
There are some though.
Okay.
Did you ever see Raised by Wolves?
No.
Okay.
You know, it's funny you said that because there was in a couple weeks ago you mentioned something named Campion, where
Oh,
that's
Campion,
the
yeah.
name of the sun
Yeah.
Mhm.
or sun.
It's
I
also
don't
the
know.
name of a flower.
Oh,
Oh.
that's probably where they got it from.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, one thing I like about sound is how, or music is how it can prepare you for something too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like, and I always think of-
Foreshadowing. Yeah.
foreshadowing, yeah.
Like setting up that emotion. Like I saying that earlier. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was
No,
listening.
you're
I
adding
listened to
to
everything
it.
you say.
You do.
Um,
Don't you worry. I like that you're adding to it.
The example I was going to think of is like episode 1, Star Wars, when you hear the Duel of the Fates for the first time, like that,
Mm.
like immediately you're like, oh shit, something's going down. Like, you know something is going to happen. Like with that kind of music, like you can't not like
Yeah.
be amped for something. Like,
brace. Yeah.
you can say what you will about any of those movies. That song, like, or that part is great. Like, you know,
Mhm.
even, well, maybe not the whole flying through space, but
Phantom Menace is at least like my 5th favorite Star Wars movie. And I know that doesn't sound great in the grand scheme of things, but
I don't know if, did we talk before about like how a movie can be, or a story can be total garbage. I say that lightly. I don't think anything really is garbage, but
Mhm.
could not be a great movie, but the soundtrack could still be amazing. And you can just
Yes.
listen to the
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack and nothing else. And
Yes.
it's still, you are taking something great away from that,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Ooh, do I have
I'm trying
another
to think of
example
examples of that now
Mhm.
because I don't tend to buy soundtracks for movies I don't like.
Sure.
Mm.
Also, I don't tend to watch movies that I don't think I'll like, because usually
Yeah.
if I see a preview, that's usually a good gauge for me about whether or not I'll like the movie.
Sure.
Mm.
There's
Oh.
something that comes out.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I don't watch previews or
That's a-
trailers because I think it's usually such a bad like representation.
Yeah,
of the
they
movie.
lie in those
Okay.
trailers.
I just find it funny that we have the
Yeah,
two.
they really work for me.
You're doing
Interesting.
something good for me.
There's a whole
One-
podcast in that one for
Yeah.
sure. Like,
There's a soundtrack actually, Thor: The Dark World.
Mm.
Horrible movie according to a lot of people. It's not my favorite either, but the soundtrack is fantastic.
Right.
But it's one of those soundtracks where almost every song is the same song. So you're just kind of getting the
Oh.
same emotion on
The theme,
repeat.
right?
Yeah.
sort of like the first Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, which I
Yeah.
love, but it is kind of repetitive because they threw it together in a record time.
Oh, yeah.
No
Mhm.
pun intended.
But it supports the story, right? Which in the
Mhm.
story is a fantastic story in that movie.
Yeah.
And characters do have their themes.
Yes.
and-
Yes.
I think sometimes, like you said, how music can set up things.
Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
It can also spoil things. Because
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen it happen where it's like, you're like a couple times in Lost or whatever, like whose character are we getting right here?
Oh,
You
Mm-hmm.
can't see their face, but you hear the theme. I'm like, well, I know who that is. Then.
Yeah,
But most people don't pay attention to that.
Right.
They don't know.
Right.
But if you are someone who pays attention to that, because it's their theme.
Right.
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 But let's shift gears here a little bit. But on the other side of that, and we talk about just music in general and the sounds of stuff and everything, lyrics and the actual like literal stories that these songs tell are also important. And I always wonder, and maybe you can fill in a little bit about this, is like, how do we get from the song to the lyrics, or the lyrics start first, or like, I'm sure Taylor Swift writes a bunch of, as soon as like she breaks up with a boyfriend, starts writing that next song, and
Oh, don't get me
like-
started. I will defend her. Internet, just know I will.
T Swizzle,
Uh,
she's your girl.
Well, it's because like we can write what we don't know. She obviously can write songs about relationships that she didn't have.
Oh no,
That's
no,
the-
I don't care about that.
No. Sorry.
I'm just wondering,
That's the old me.
I'm sorry. That was my father speaking. That's not me.
It's my dad's voice. But no, I don't have a lot of experience with songwriting in particular because I think I'm actually a horrible lyricist. And at least matching that up with music, at least like listenable music. I've written some songs, mostly ones that I wrote when I was a teenager, and early 20s too.
It's like Taylor Swift.
She helped
She's
me play guitar.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her first album, I'm second album. Sorry, Speak Now.
What
I
about
think
like
I learned how to.
what about like Sarah Bareilles? Like that we love.
She writes
Talking-
pure poetry.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to circle back just quickly. No, I find that you can write music, but it's really hard to make the words fit that music because of the syllables and trying to make like certain patterns fit within certain musical phrases. But Sarah Bareilles, I think I respect her music writing. One, because I think she does both. I'm pretty sure she does both.
Yeah, me too.
But it's pure poetry. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to her that much.
And also it comes up at karaoke a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what song? You know?
Kind of a lot of them.
Oh,
actually.
excellent.
King of anything.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
another one.
But she's like writing genuine piano music with beautiful lyrics
Mhm.
that are so powerful at points. And
I almost feel like that's like a primary focus for her. Like
Mm.
sometimes, again, it's kind of like where music is secondary to movies. I feel like people who focus on the lyrics, if you're going to have lyrics in your song, need to lock that down because I can't tell you how many songs I've listened to that are just like great sounding, but the lyrics are stupid. Like, and I feel that, but I'll still listen to them regardless. Like, it's not gonna stop me from listening to it. It's just like, oh, this could have been a little better if like,
right.
One artist who I think some of our nerdier fans will appreciate is like who writes his music and the lyrics is Tom Lehrer.
Tom Lehrer.
He was a mathematics professor in the 60s who wrote silly stuff.
Oh, sure.
So like it's all like it was all on Dr. Demento stuff.
Oh,
and like,
sure.
But his lyrics are brilliant in terms of like tempo and rhyme. It's really clever. You get the sense of just this is really smartly written.
Sure.
And like I'm trying to think of good examples. There's like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park. So it's a springtime song.
Yay.
And, he's like, when they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide. They still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
My pulse will be quickened with each drop of strychnine.
Is that like iambic pentameter or anything?
I don't know enough to actually correctly identify that, but I listen to it. I'm like, man, he's sharp.
Yeah.
And he's a pianist. He's one of those who you'd see occasionally on PBS, like playing the piano and singing.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes. So,
man.
Yeah. When is synth a good thing to use?
When is synth appropriate? Never.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It does have its applications. Honestly, in sci-fi, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Agree.
An example I think of poor synth usage is the second Wonder Woman film.
Haven't seen either.
No, it's like, I mean, internet, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's all synth that Hans Zimmer is using. And he is like, what's the phrase? Like he's pushed forward the genre of like music in movies.
A pioneer
to a degree. Like, he's done so many great ones, even Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
Klaus Badelt.
Yes, I like that name a lot. But his soundtrack for Wonder Woman 2, I just think is a dud. But I think it's because it doesn't fit with what's happening in that movie. Like it doesn't set the tone well. But there are other movies like Tron Legacy where synths are perfect, which they also do use an orchestra at the same time. But I think it's a very good example of where it can be used. But of course, sci-fi.
I'm sure like Pacific Rim has some synths.
Oh, probably.
I got one for you though. Like, can you think of any song that you think that has been wasted on a scene or something like that? Because I can think of one
Yeah.
right off the top of bed,
You can
which
go
is
first if
O
you want.
Fortuna in the Excalibur. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a wonderfully powerful song, and it's just horses riding across the plains. Like, it's just come on,
Overkill.
guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also get some of those things in Lost, which is Michael Giacchino.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so good.
But
Is that how you say it?
yeah,
Giacchino?
I
Yep.
said it wrong earlier. My
Giacchino?
apologies.
yeah.
Giacchino.
I watch
Giacchino.
commentaries and stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Oh,
people
He
who know
must be
Giacchino.
saying his name wrong.
Huh.
Pretty sure Giacchino.
Giacchino.
Well, because it's
Giacchino.
the double C's, and that's always confusing. So thank you for
Mhm.
Giacchino.
saying Giacchino. Okay.
Like Jacobo, but Giacchino. Yeah. My one claim to fame is that I know how to say
I can
Giacchino.
pronounce some certain things.
But you do like the Lost soundtrack?
I do, but there are times where it's almost overpowering, where
Sure.
like
Mm.
where I want to hear what they're saying, or the scene should be more muted, or it's just over the top.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing that I worry about. But like
Mhm.
I know for my own stuff, pirate movies and such, it seems
Mhm.
like strings, drums, like tropical type sounds,
Right.
flutes, those are all good for like jungle, battle, stealth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know they do certain things with certain productions, like Lost used actual airplane parts for some of their percussion.
Sure.
Wow.
Because they bought a plane, a decommissioned plane, and
Right,
they wrecked
extruded
it
Yeah.
to create
Ooh.
the opening scene
I
of the
didn't know
pilot.
that.
They
Okay.
didn't actually
And-
crash them. That's
Yeah, they didn't actually crash a plane, it turns out. But yeah, they used
Unauthentic.
they used airplane parts from all of that as
and they were like hitting on them and everything.
yeah. So you hear certain vibrating percussive tones, not
Sure.
quite vibraphone, but that sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
kind of thing, and it's like airplane parts.
Yeah. That's cool.
Interesting.
Which I think I'm not a believer that that's going to make it somehow a bunch better. It's just like
Sure.
kind of a cool thing, but it's not
Yeah.
like this is going to make the soundtrack even more appealing.
Right. So the song and the like melody still has to be like
Right.
appealing. You can't just
Mhm.
like
It's not like this crystal had this power. It's like no, it's an airplane part. It's not made this sound. It's not the only thing that can make that sound,
right.
but it's just kind of a cool little trivia fact. And
Yeah.
maybe if it makes the musicians connect more with the production, then they'll do
That's
a better
true.
job.
Yeah.
That's true.
Possible.
To go back to his original question, sorry, I kind of forgot about it. Which instruments are better for which settings?
Yeah.
I think you would ask
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think strings are perfect in all settings. I'm just kidding.
I won't disagree with that, honestly. Like,
There's a huge variety of strings.
That's true. That
Yeah.
is true. Because I think they just fit a certain like tone very well. And depends on how they're being used, because they can be used in scary movies, like in a very
yeah.
like dissonant way. And then they can be used like in like Pride and Prejudice. I think it's the 2006 one with Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadyen. Strings are so delicately used, and like in that movie they feel so much more like a sunrise type emotion rather than being used in, I think, in like Aliens, when
Sure.
percussions and strings are being used to make you feel unsettled.
Yeah, that
Mhm,
like that, like
mhm.
even picking
Yeah.
is such a different thing.
Yes,
than
yes.
String. Is it string? Boeing? Is it
Boeing.
Boeing.
Mhm.
Not the airline or the
Yeah, no.
airplane company, rather.
Unless you want to sponsor us.
But your
Take
question
Airbus.
though was
When is it used poorly? Like when or
a song.
song,
Oh,
yeah, songs used
I do-
poorly.
I said this song earlier too. "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen was used in the Sonic movie. Did not love how it was used.
I think Queen is usually overused, but
Right.
Yeah.
that's me. I'm not,
Especially in that movie Bohemian, they used like all their songs.
God, it's like they just couldn't give it a rest.
Get it? You like
God.
Queen?
Beatles
Whatever.
too. I think they're overused.
What about sex scenes?
Oh.
What instruments are good for those?
Horns. Because there's a lot of blowing going on.
Have you had
God.
sex before? No, just kidding.
And I always sound like a mighty horn. Yes, I'm more of a saxophone guy. I just want to
Yeah.
say,
Mhm,
Rhythm section for sex scenes,
mhm.
which is like
It's a bunch of
bass.
bongos.
Yeah. Bongos are perfect for any sex scene. I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like trip hop is good for.
Trip hop.
Oh, what's that?
That's
I feel
sort
like
of.
you're making up things.
Portishead would be a good example if you know.
Try
You
again.
guys,
Yep.
yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So I'm the cool
Magic
one.
8 Ball,
Yeah.
Sorry.
like No way.
But
no
it's
say.
sort of it's often synth based.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, there's strings and everything too. Like all
Sure.
kinds of. I'll give you examples later. Off camera, maybe between this week and next week.
Yeah.
But it's sort of trip hop is sort of like a descriptor of, I think, the pacing and mood. So it's sort of a slow but sensual sort of
Interesting.
but also like it's engineered a lot of the time through synth and strings. It's sort of a slow pacing.
Interesting.
I can't, like Hooverphonic is a good example.
making up
Portishead
things.
is a good example.
Wow.
Massive Attack, Morcheeba.
I think
Tricky.
I've heard Massive Attack.
Yeah.
I want to say I've heard Massive Attack.
Yeah, they're actually like, it's a widely known name, even if you don't know the songs. But like, yeah, I know someone said, how do you make it's like it's an online meme, like make a band name more Minnesotan, and I said Passive Attack. Yeah,
I think to answer your question though, too, if we were gonna be like what instruments are used in like sex scenes, if you go to the old like retro pornos or whatever, it's always like the
yeah.
Oh,
It's how do you make something more 70s?
yeah.
Which I think it's interesting that they and I like how they worked it into the story about how the entire Martian theme is disco. Sorry, I just hit the table.
You know,
It
Yeah.
is.
the actual movie, the
The
Martian.
Martian with Matt Damon?
because
disco.
because all of the Commander's music, which is all the music he had,
Okay.
was
From her
disco.
laptop,
It was
right?
all hers,
Oh.
and it's all disco.
Because so
Oh, that's
I think
right.
do you kind of mean like not the orchestral soundtrack, but the
Music
like
used.
yeah.
Either or,
Yeah.
like
Sure.
it's all soundtrack. That's the
Mhm.
thing.
Oh,
There's the incidental music, and then there's like soundtrack.
Yes, yes.
I was about to say what we watched the other day with who was it we watched it with? Oh, it was with our friends in Maryland, Baby Driver.
Oh,
Perfect use of
mhm.
any song. It's all just like music, like not soundtrack, but pop music and everything. And it I've watched this movie a couple of times,
Mhm.
and the fact that they sync the music up so well with like the gunshots, any movements that happen, like they would be like they'll be making a turn and it'd be like the song might hit the snare drum 3 times, like bump, bump, bump. And then like 3 things will happen. Like they would shoot the gun 3 times, bump, bump, bump. Like it was just
Yeah.
like this really cool
It's
match and
so
scene on
satisfying.
music. Yeah. And I knew it happened and I've seen it, but watching it this last time, I like saw it so much more. Like it was fantastic.
You're reminding me of a game that my brother and I made up when we were kids. It's called Musical Kung Fu. And this is
I love
based
it.
off the old NES Kung Fu game.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
And we were, I was playing music on our stereo and we
Mm.
had the game on mute.
Yeah.
And then we just noticed like at various points, like certain like jump kicks and punches and whatever were lining up. I was thinking I was listening to Phil Collins or
Oh,
something.
sure.
So I was like lining up with the beat and everything. Like, you know what? Let's try
Let's
to
go
do
beat
that.
each
That's
other up.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
that we played that. I mean, it's one of those things where it's never as fun as the first time.
Sure.
But
Mhm.
But you did it, right?
Yeah, you feel great when you get like a 5-blow combo and it matched. Try
With the
try
music.
in the
Yeah.
air tonight.
Yeah.
So you got to get in a big old scrum for that part.
That's great.
Man,
But if you haven't watched Baby Driver, do yourself a favor. That's
highly
another one. Yeah.
recommend.
Yeah, I still got to
Highly
watch
recommend.
Speed Racer too.
That too.
Oh, that one, even that soundtrack. Oh my gosh.
The last
Wow.
song on that, what Michael
Giacchino.
Nope. Was it
Giacchino.
Giacchino? Oh, not Giacchino. Giacchino.
It's the same thing.
Is
Gia.
it? It's wrong
Gia.
and fast. It's on the
Gia.
wrong syllable.
Yeah.
Your pronunciation is what? No.
What? Now
I say
gotta remember.
elementary,
Giacchino?
and mobile, so
Giacchino.
I'm a bad
Giacchino.
example of it.
Jacobo.
Giacchino.
Giacchino. Okay. Anyways, but that last song, yeah, reboot, like
Mhm.
again, perfection.
My heart.
Yeah, you could watch that last scene. Well, maybe not, because it's one of those things too. Is like these songs and these like moments have to be earned, and sure they might be impactful, but I never think they're going to be as impactful unless you go through the whole story and understand why that moment and that song are so important, or how that song serves to make that moment even more important.
Mhm.
Like-
Although counterpoint to that is always the Fifth Element. know,
That's the answer to everything, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's the exception that proves every rule.
Right. But it's almost like I don't even know why it works so well, but it's almost like because it's the movie is so whimsical in its execution that
the soundtrack can be whimsical,
Right, right.
as well.
Yes.
and almost detached at points and everything.
Yeah.
And
It's like it's 80% serious and 20% mocking itself.
sure,
Yes.
So
yeah.
the soundtrack gets to do that too.
Yes.
Yes, it's like, okay, I guess we're playing this baby music now or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that's very interesting that you say that because I never really thought about that. And it's one of those things where like you ever watch those comedy movies where it's a comedy until it's not, and then it hits so hard because you just aren't either expecting it or that you're riding so high and we're all just laughing. And all of a sudden they do that thing. It's kind of like Shaun of the Dead when he has to kill his mother. Spoilers.
You're supposed to say spoilers first.
Damn it. I always get that wrong.
You can edit that in.
No
Spoilers.
and I like jump cut. Like, but it's just like everybody's having a fun time. Haha, it's the zombie apocalypse and they're making fun of everything. And then it gets real and then it gets serious. And then it's all of a sudden, I should actually go see what the music's like in there. And it's because of that, like such a difference that it really punches it harder.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
juxtaposition.
Like
Like,
juxtaposition.
yeah. One movie that I know they did that, it was because of a casting change, was Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
It's kind of jokey because it's Eddie Murphy and whatever. And
Yeah.
then there's a scene kind of early on where someone's basically like, they're laying on the floor and they're shot in the back of the head. It's like, whoa.
yeah.
And it's because originally it was going to be Sylvester Stallone and not Eddie Murphy. And it was going to be a grittier film.
Oh.
And so you make that switch and you've got Eddie Murphy in there and people are like, oh, this is a fun comedy. What the
yeah.
hell was that?
Mm.
So yeah, it's interesting when that happened. There's a whole podcast in that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be a catchphrase. There's a whole podcast
There's a whole
in
The
that.
whole one.
We are podcastception.
I don't know where we're at for time, but
We can keep
Yeah,
going.
But like,
a little bit.
we talked earlier off camera about Macross Plus.
Mm.
And I just want to give that an
A
honorable
few
mention.
A few weeks ago.
Mhm.
One song. Yeah, it was off camera a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, one song in there that always kind of grabbed me. And I don't know anyone else who said that this grabbed them. It's called Bad Dog. It's
Yep.
completely a cappella for
Yep.
the first half of it. And then there's like,
That
the sort of tone.
Shindekoto. That one?
no, not that one.
Oh, is that not it?
I think it's like right after that one.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, you just like have to look it up.
yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I have the
But
Have
it's
a
a lot of guys like making noises. And in my head, I always get this sort of like evolution of man kind of thing. I'm just like this sort of tribal thing. And by the end, it's like, it's starting to fade a little bit. And it's
Yeah.
sort of like the vitality of like, we're here.
Yeah.
I get like flashes of like, I've seen Riverdance a couple times and
Oh,
it's
sure.
telling this sort of
Oh.
like cultural tribal story. But then there's this tone that comes in. It's like, and it's probably synthesized orchestral kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's just sort of, it binds the whole thing together. So it's sort of like all these separate individuals and separate groups and whatever, and all bound together. And it's
Sure.
like, it's like, this is really getting emotional. Like,
Yeah.
this is like if you look at it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they're just like, this is annoying.
It is because I know, I think which part of this song, because it was just like this weird kind of like, they use it at least in the OVA where it's just like they're trying to map out the brain and like do some kind of like things with how they can better sync up to people during the concert. And
Yeah.
it sounds just like backwards kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's that track.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
which one it is now because
Mhm.
it was either that or the other one, which I was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I knew which
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I've listened to it enough times.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
But
Again,
yeah, like
Macross Plus.
the last vocals on the track I'm talking about is like I think
Mhm.
like 3, 4, or 5 people going, ah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like that ends, and then the tone is all that's
Yeah.
left. Like it's not just a flat
Mm.
tone; it's sort of a very
Didn't they
multi-tone.
pump in ocean sounds too? I think.
Kind of a little,
I think
not
so, a little
quite.
bit.
I don't know if there was ocean sounds, but
It was something
it was
like
kind
that,
of oceanic.
Sure. Ocean
Um,
mayonnaise. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually another joke for
Damn
another
it.
time.
All right.
My husband makes fun of me.
No, do not make fun of you. We're just
That's
gonna.
okay.
I'm just
Everyone
kidding, Dad.
makes-
It's true.
Yeah.
Equal
But
opportunity.
You're so cute and you're so high above us, like Jonah Arc or Cleopatra.
Wow. I
Damn.
love to be on the same level as a martyr. And
Oscar got what I was doing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another older song,
Yeah.
oh,
90s.
Aphrodite.
Horrible.
okay. I'm
If
going to
you
take
know,
those
you
as
know, right?
compliments.
Yeah.
I don't
Take us
know.
out of here, Kate.
All right. Well, That was what episode was this? The fourth episode of Bars and Balladeers podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you're still here with us, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Let us know if you have any comments or questions on anything that we touched on here. We would love to hear maybe your favorite themes or songs from movies, video games, whatever it may be. What are your thoughts on synths and whether or not they may be appropriate? I would love to hear both sides. Oscar would also love to hear how much strings are more important than synths, of course.
Yeah.
An honorable mention for Mirror in the Bathroom at Gross Point Blank. Like that song.
Wow. No.
Death scene. Sorry, I wanted to get to that.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like your honorable mention for anyone who loves
okay.
that movie. That's a great fight scene.
Oh,
okay.
I do love fight scenes.
And it's also a very realistic fight scene.
Yeah. The blood isn't fake.
But yeah.
It's all real.
It's all real.
Thanks for hanging with us for this last month.
Yeah. And we hope to get more ideas from you guys in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll keep on doing this as long as you keep wanting it. Or maybe if you don't want it, we'll still do it.
We'll still do it.
Because we like hanging out.
Yeah.
We do.
We should hang out more.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.